Adding GAA, especially around that 0.10% and 0.13% mark, gave a significant lift to growth.
Okay.
For example, the weight gain rate jumped noticeably higher with 0.13% GAA compared to the shrimp that didn't get any. We're not talking small changes here.
So potentially faster cycles.
Potentially, yeah. It suggests a real acceleration. And, the specific growth rate was also higher, meaning faster biomass buildup day to day.
A whole new era of communication in the global aquaculture industry is coming. Now you have the brightest minds in aquaculture right in your pocket. And what's best? You can listen to all of them while driving to a farm, traveling, or running errands. It's never been this good, and it's never been this simple. Welcome to the Aquaculture Podcast Show, the first AI-based podcast in aquaculture, where you'll find cutting-edge insights in everything that's working in aquaculture, nutrition, health, and production.
Welcome to the deep dive. Think about intensive shrimp farming. You've got high densities, the constant pressure for efficiency, but also real challenges with stress and disease.
Yeah, exactly.
Today, we're looking at a nutritional approach that seems to tackle some of these head-on. It's showing some pretty remarkable potential.
Absolutely. We're diving into guanidinoacetic acid, or GAA, looking at how supplementing it in the feed for white shrimp, the Litopenaeus vannamei, can make a difference.
Okay.
We're really exploring its broader effects, growth, health, the whole picture in these modern systems.
Right. So let's get into it. Numbers are great, but what do they actually mean on the farm? The big question always is, does this additive genuinely boost growth and make feeding more efficient? What did the work show for GAA?
Well, the results were pretty compelling. Adding GAA, especially around that 0.10% and 0.13% mark, gave a significant lift to growth.
Okay.
For example, the weight gain rate jumped noticeably higher with 0.13% GAA compared to the shrimp that didn't get any. We're not talking small changes here.
So potentially faster cycles.
Potentially, yeah. It suggests a real acceleration. And, the specific growth rate was also higher, meaning faster biomass buildup day to day.
That's impressive growth.
Yeah.
Wisenetics turns podcast airtime into brand authority. We don't sell ads, we elevate voices. Curious how far your voice can go to become a reference in the industry and attract more leads? Scan the QR code and discover how we can turn your expertise into unmatched brand authority. Let's transform expertise into influence, starting now.
But efficiency is king, right? Especially with feed costs. How did the feed conversion ratio look?
Ah, yes, the FCR. That's where it gets very interesting for producers. It dropped significantly in the GAA groups.
Lower's better there.
Exactly. Much better conversion of feed into actual shrimp biomass compared to the control. The analysis actually pinpointed about 0.10% GAA as maybe the sweet spot for optimizing that overall growth benefit.
So finding that balance point is key.
It is. Maximizing growth, but also keeping an eye on that feed efficiency for the best return.
Okay, so we see the growth, the efficiency gains. But what's happening inside the shrimp physiologically? Did this GAA supplementation help them handle stress, like oxidative stress?
Yeah, that's a critical point. High-density farming is stressful, and oxidative damage is a real issue. The research showed a definite boost in their antioxidant defenses.
Oh.
We saw superoxide dismutase activity, that's a key protective enzyme, increase by, around 15-20% in the GAA groups. Think of it like strengthening the shrimp's internal cleanup crew for damaging molecules.
Right, mopping up those free radicals. Were there other signs pointing that way?
Oh, absolutely. The total antioxidant capacity, basically the overall protective shield, actually tripled with GAA.
Wow, tripled.
Yeah. And at the same time, levels of malondialdehyde, which is a marker for cellular damage, lipid peroxidation specifically dropped substantially, by almost a third in some groups.
So less damage occurring.
Exactly. It paints a picture of shrimp that are just physiologically more robust, better equipped to handle the environmental stressors they face. They're, fundamentally tougher.
That improved resilience naturally makes you think about immunity. Did GAA affect their immune systems, particularly those nonspecific first-line defenses?
It did. There was a pretty consistent upward trend in key immune enzyme activities in the hepatopancreas. We saw significant increases in acid phosphatase, alkaline phosphatase, phenyloxidase, and lysozyme activity with GAA. These are all really important players in that immediate innate immune response against pathogens. And the optimal levels for these enzymes seem to be around those 0.10% and 0.13% inclusion rates again.
So a stronger enzymatic defense. Did they look any deeper, maybe at the genetic level? to see how GAA might be triggering these changes?
Yes, they did, and it supported the enzyme findings. Messenger RNA expression for key immune genes, specifically genes involved in signaling pathways and bacterial response, was significantly upregulated, particularly in those 0.10% and 0.13% groups. So linking it all together, it really suggests improved immune signaling, better readiness to fight off bacterial threats, just a stronger foundation for disease resistance.
Speaking of disease resistance, they did a challenge test with Vibrio harviae, right? A common problem. You mentioned earlier the mortality decrease wasn't quite statistically significant. How should a producer interpret that? A drop from 20% down to below 7% sounds pretty good, even if it doesn't hit that statistical threshold.
That's a really practical question. And you're right, while it didn't reach statistical significance in this particular test setup, the downward trend was very clear. Mortality dropped from 20% in the control down to 6.67% in the higher GAA groups. So functionally, it suggests a definite, if maybe moderate, improvement in their ability to survive that challenge.
So still valuable information.
I'd say so. For a large operation, reducing mortality even by that much could have a significant positive impact on the overall yield and, well, profitability. It reduces losses.
Okay, pulling it all together then, the growth, efficiency, antioxidants, immunity, even this trend in disease resistance. How is GAA actually doing all this inside the shrimp? What's the mechanism?
Well, fundamentally, GAA is a direct precursor for creatine. And creatine is absolutely vital for energy metabolism at the cellular level. It helps regenerate ATP, the cell's energy currency.
Or you're recharging the batteries.
Exactly. And that improved energy status likely helps with redox balance too, tying back to the antioxidant effects. What's also quite interesting is how it seems to boost immunity.
How so?
In some animals, GAA can sometimes trigger pro-inflammatory signals. But here, in shrimp, the upregulation of those specific immune genes suggests they're enhancing the readiness of their nonspecific defenses without necessarily paying the price of inflammation.
Ah, so a targeted boost.
It seems that way. It's a really comprehensive look at GAA and vannamei, bringing together the molecular side with the functional immune results. It adds a lot to the picture for shrimp nutrition.
It certainly seems to. This deep dive really highlights guanidinoacetic acid as a potentially powerful tool for intensive white shrimp farming. Looks like that 0.10% inclusion rate, give or take, might be a real sweet spot. Optimizing growth, boosting feed efficiency, significantly improving those antioxidant and immune functions, and apparently without negatively impacting muscle quality, which is also key.
Precisely. The findings really do build a strong case for including GAA and health-focused feed strategies, especially, for managing stress and bolstering innate immunity in these very intensive systems we use today. It gives us a solid base for applying it now.
So reflecting on this deep dive into guanidinoacetic acid, what's the biggest takeaway for you? And how might these kinds of insights start shaping how you'd approach enhancing shrimp health and productivity going forward?
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the Aquaculture Podcast Show on your favorite platform. And don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook to stay updated on the latest episodes and industry insights. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.